Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
That's just what I was thinking.
This is 1985. Okay, I guess this. Well, clearly 1985. This isn't during the Renaissance, and I guess the Dixie Cups, the Solo Cups, gave it away.
Renaissance Fair, and here comes
and here comes the
TVA.
the timekeepers. Oh, that looks like Agatha Harkness, dude.
That does look like Agatha,
doesn't it? It looks like
they're trying to do a little.
It looks like Elizabeth Shepard.
Maybe throw a little cross.
I mean, it definitely look. I don't know. That's.
I don't think it is her, but it does look like.
That's yeah. I mean, I can't be the first one to think that they look alike. So they had to have chosen someone on purpose, or at least it crossed their mind. All right. So what do we got though here?
Are they tracking? Like, what are they tracking?
They're supposedly tracking the variant, but I guess Loki. But as we talked about last episode, I don't think it is Loki. It's a trap. Yeah, you couldn't have seen that coming. You walked into a dark tent. Uh-oh.
Somebody just touched her.
Uh-oh, she's possessed. This can't be good. Ooh, right there. All right. What? You know what? How come whenever in shows... that's not Renaissance Fair fun. How come...
So now, hold on.
Ooh, all right. You know, I'm assuming not all timekeepers are the same in terms of like their skill set. What if whoever just possessed her, I'm assuming Loki or the variant, what if he possessed someone that's just like not good at fighting?
Exactly.
And gets just like
the weakest of
all
and
just gets completely like gets their butt whooped, you know? What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Legally Caffeinated. I am Frank Esquire. This is
Shuaib Esquire.
And we are legally
caffeinated.
Legally caffeinated. On today's episode, we are breaking down episode 2 of Loki. It's the Loki legal breakdown, and we just saw some pretty crazy stuff. Apparently, one of the not the timekeepers, the
stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers. That's what we'll call them. The time stormtroopers. The TVA agents. They one of them just I guess was enchanted or something, and just went
touched
rogue
by somebody and turned into an agent of evil.
Yeah, and by the cloaked figure, the mysterious cloaked figure, whom having watched this now, spoiler alert, we were right, and it was not Loki. It was I guess it could be Lady Loki, but it's somebody, but it's not Loki.
Yeah, but the thing is, they said Loki, the variant of Loki comes in various different forms and sizes. So, not sure that isn't a variant of Loki. However, it doesn't look anything like Loki. One, it's a woman. Two, it just doesn't look like Loki. Like even a Sylvie.
Yeah, it does. And she, when she and Loki were fighting, she didn't want him to call her Loki. So which
and she laughed when he made that. Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that she's not Loki, and that she's somebody else. But initial reactions. What do you think about it?
I thought it was a really good episode. Actually, after watching this episode, I'm more excited about watching this season, and that wasn't the case after the first episode. Although some of the issues about the whole time creators, whatever you want to call them, still exist. Even though they tried to answer a lot of them, it's hard to answer those questions. However, it was a very, very interesting episode that has me excited for the rest of it. The ending was amazing.
Okay. Oh yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree. It's the ending of this was amazing. I didn't know if I wanted Loki to go through the portal. I kind of felt bad for Mobius. Yeah. I wanted, because who knows what. I mean, he was allowed to go on that mission, and who knows what consequences he's going to face for letting Loki escape, so to speak. But you know what? And actually, I did a little bit of digging after this too. And actually, it wasn't, at least according to the Spanish credits, of this episode. The variant, her name is Sylvie, Sylvie. So who Sylvie is, I don't know.
Sylvie, Loki.
Yeah, Sylvie, Loki. I mean, she obviously is some witch or enchantress, so she can do something. Scarlet Witch type powers.
Here's an interesting question, right? Because we feel bad for Mobius just because we've gotten to know him a little bit through that episode. But the question remains, who are the good guys? And who are the bad guys, right?
Right. I completely agree. I mean, watching this episode, I really had a dislike for the timekeepers. Like when Mobius and Loki and they're talking about who created Mobius and who created Loki and predetermined fate and free will. I was actually, like I don't like the timekeepers. I feel like you're not getting all the information. I don't think what's the motivations? Oh, yeah.
I don't think the timekeepers are real. I think they're like something that someone in power is using to claim to maintain power, right? I don't know if they're actually end timekeepers. The fact that Mobius has never met them, and the way that judge, Mobius's friend, talked about the timekeepers and how this has them very concerned, it just doesn't sound. It sounds like more of a method of control than them actually being real.
Right, and I think part of me is like questioning like why do they want the timeline, the precious timeline kept, the sacred timeline? That's what it's called. Like who determined that this was the sacred timeline? Them, I guess. And that's what Loki asked. What are they doing now? And Mobius says, well, they're writing basically the future, and then that's that.
Yeah, but it's strange that if you can create a timeline this intricate and complex, why can't you control it, right? If everybody's moving along without free will, as you say, and it's all up to the timekeepers, then why are you punishing people for going outside of the timeline? Right, especially if you don't tell them they can't. Right, if they knew they couldn't, then that's different. But if you don't tell them they can't, and they know that they can't, who knows when they're doing something they shouldn't?
Yeah, I mean the timekeepers are pretty messed up if you think about it, because you're right. Nope, and they don't just indicate. At least Mobius, when he was talking about it, he didn't just say traveling in time, messing with time. That's a violation. He says if you do anything that departs from the timeline, you just violated it, and they're coming to get you. Which is, when Loki took the Tesseract and went to Mongolia, and they came and arrested him. I mean, he didn't know, but so basically, anybody that just tries to exercise free will gets arrested, because that's basically what it is, right?
Here's a question, right? So was what's the purple guy's name? Thanos. Was Thanos,
Thanos
living his purpose? Was he on the divine timeline, or was he not? Like, how did that work?
Well, that's what they said in the last episode. They said it was supposed to happen. Like they said that your Avenger friends messing with time was supposed to happen, because that's why Loki was like, why if they were messing with time, why didn't they get arrested or suffer consequences? But then the response to which the judge, I think her name's Raynor, the judge, which she's also like the jury and
the executioner.
Almost, like the executioner. She gives orders. She finds people guilty. I don't know what her motives is. I want to think that she's some. I think she's bad. And I'll tell you why in a second. Something's up. But they basically said, that what the Avengers did was supposed to happen. So it's not even just messing with time. It's just doing something. It's exercising free will. So basically, I don't want the TVA to. I don't want the TVA to exist. I don't like it. I feel like the timekeepers are bad.
I think this is a classic bait and switch where they're going to pull us into thinking they're good, and ultimately show us that they're evil. And Loki and the mysterious woman are going, or Sylvie, Loki and Sylvie are going to turn around and fight the timekeepers. But I also think Mobius is going to be pulled in to Loki's side once Loki explains to him what's really going on. Because, like you said, nothing. Yeah. It doesn't make sense the way they dole out punishment or even arrest people, because you never. Usually, ignorance is not a defense, right? But in this case, how do you determine as a person, right? What decisions you can make and can't make, right? How do you, if you don't know your timeline, how do you know you're breaking your timeline, right? It doesn't make sense.
Right. So they're just offing people for like just doing what they want to do, and they're like, nope, you just did something off the time. You went rogue off this sacred timeline. We're offing you. Did you notice that the judge's last name when she signed the mission to allow Mobius and to take Loki back to an apocalyptic event to see about his variance theory?
Yeah.
You notice her last name is Savage. Did you catch that?
Yes, I didn't catch it, but you did remind me of that.
R Savage is her name. I don't know if that's supposed to, or no, Slayer. Her name's Slayer. Slayer. That's even Slayer, Judge Slayer.
So she is the executioner. She's judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, R Judge Slayer. Hey, your case is being heard in front of Judge Slayer. So I don't think she's good.
There's Judge Savage in federal court in Philadelphia.
Oh, there is? Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So I mean, any relation to Randy Savage? So I don't think she's good. And did you catch that? Something's up with that pen. Did you see when Owen Wilson and Mobius, when she gives him the permission? So, Loki comes to the conclusion that, the variant's hiding out in apocalyptic events because he could do anything or she could do anything there, and it doesn't affect the timeline because that event, that place and time is designated already for destruction. So when he wants to go there, and he has to get permission from Judge Slayer, and Judge Slayer signs the order, and when he has to sign, he takes the pen, and he's like, oh, I don't recognize this. Must be from one of your other agents. But on the pen, it says Franklin D. Roosevelt High School. But I don't understand. I mean, I tried to find any connection to, in the MCU to Franklin D. Roosevelt High School. The only thing, I mean, it is a real high school in New York, in Brooklyn. And so,
Is it Captain America's from Brooklyn?
Is he? Yeah, he is from Brooklyn. So, you know what? Is that a throwback from when Captain America was going back in time? Because Captain America had to go back in time to restore the Infinity Stones. So did he come across the timekeepers?
Maybe he wasn't supposed to do what he did. Maybe his actions were outside of what he was supposed to do.
Because where did she get that pen? Because she got that pen from somewhere from that high school. Because I guess everything in her office is memorabilia from the case, and we got a roller skate, we got a snow globe, and we got this pen that we can see. So I don't know. I mean, here's
another question, right? So they said that if something is a catastrophic event, if you go there before it happens, anything you do goes undetected by the variance monitor because that place is set to be destroyed.
Yeah, it doesn't create a branch timeline.
Yeah, but what if you took all those people? What if you came back in the future with a car or a plane, got all those people on the plane and flew away? Wouldn't that that would change everything?
Yeah, that would change everything. I mean, there's a lot of holes in the theories. I like what they're doing, but there's just there's a lot of holes in the theories. Like, where does the TVA was created, but where are they? Where does it exist? Like Owen Wilson, he's offered a drink in her office. He's offered like alcohol. Where are they making that? He eats a salad for lunch.
Yeah, they have drinks, so they have everything, but they don't. It doesn't seem like they have a life. They don't go home. It seems like they just stay there.
They just stay there. And he doesn't. You haven't seen his house yet. Like, I don't know where he lives, where he sleeps, or anything. But you got these three figures, the timekeepers. Loki keeps calling them lizards.
Have you ever seen anybody in the TVA that's old or young? Everybody seems to be around the same
Oh,
age, unless I'm not remembering correctly, right?
there was when Loki tries to get files on the creation of time, the end of time, the
The
creation of the
lady.
TVA. The lady has like old hands, but or she seems old. I don't know, but it's you're right. I don't know what the TVA is. I feel like something's up because Sylvie or female Loki, whoever it is, variant Loki, whoever that turns out to be. Uh, she sets a bunch of bombs or off. Or she's time resets or what are they called?
Yeah, I think they are called the reset. They
Yeah,
use them to
the
reset time,
timeline. Yeah,
reset the
timeline
variance.
reset. Yeah,
Yeah,
and so she sends them a bunch of different places.
yeah.
If she really wanted to. If she really wanted to just get rid of the TVA, couldn't she have just sent them back to the TVA? Because the agent that she mind controlled, told Mobius, I gave him everything. I gave him the location of the TVA, everything. So where did she send these time resets?
But
Where did she send them to?
but the place where she sent them, when she sent them all through those, I guess, portals doors, they all started all these crazy variances, time variances on their monitor that went crazy. So what was changing, right? Though I thought they
Yeah.
were resets, it seems like they're not resetting; they're actually throwing everything off.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna find out that you're right, that it's not they're not resetting the timeline. They're literally just kind of like eliminating any type of predetermined path. Like they know what they want to happen, and they're just eliminating any free will. So it's not. I think the TVA. I think the timekeepers are bad, and
Yeah, I think
I feel like this is very like matrixy, they're controlling everyone, no free will. It's also a little bit of a Catch Me If You Can, Tom Hanks and Leonardo
yeah,
DiCaprio.
yeah.
Like Mobius is the agent and Loki's, he's in jail or he's doing his time by helping them.
I think they're grabbing a whole bunch of different ideas, like from religion and different movies, and creating a backstory for Loki. I mean, it is very interesting, even though I don't think it's going to make complete sense. I think it is interesting to watch and see what happens. Like, ultimately, in my opinion, ultimately, Loki, Mobius, and this woman who's probably going to die eventually are going to fight either the time keepers or whoever is in charge, like that woman Slayer. They're going to be opposing
Yeah.
teams, right?
You know what? Because at the end of the episode where everything is the bombs are going, let's call them bombs. The time reset pieces, they're going places. She grabs a stick like the zap stick. That's what
And walks
she
out,
grabs and
yeah,
runs out. So where was she going? Like who was
yeah,
she going to
exactly.
zap? Like she wasn't going off. But you're right too. I mean, have you seen? There's like a picture. It's like a famous painting. I don't know who painted it, but in it, it looks like the person in it is holding like it's like hundreds of years old, but it looks like they're holding an iPhone. Have you seen that?
No,
But that's what it kind of reminds you of. There's some article that came out where there was like, is time travel real? Because there was this picture that a painting that you could just probably Google it, like painting iPhone. There was in the painting, it looked like a person was holding an iPhone. I feel like like this could be comparable to that.
yeah,
Like I feel like this all these people going back in time. Nobody's noticing like these big soldiers in armor with these light up sticks. I feel like that would have been something that would have been reported or like
see,
memorialized in time.
but that's what I think the those reset timers do. I think they erase everybody's memory along with changing whatever was a variant, right? I think people
I
who are
yeah.
anybody who sees it, they forget what they saw and they go back to the time right before it.
So you think that's what they do, or I thought maybe they just like blew up everything because in the beginning when they go to the Renaissance fair, shout out to How I Met Your Mother, the Renaissance fair, and Loki's like that's just a fancy way of saying that they disintegrate everything in its path. So I don't know what it is.
Wow, that would be
it's a
they
little
they
weird.
destroy everything. That's like you're just destroying it. One person is one person caused the variance. So everybody in that everybody on that same timeline is destroyed forever. How many
Yeah,
variances would that cause?
yeah. Like let's look at it. Like they set off these to reset the timeline, and they set off these things, and it seems to like just disintegrate everything in its path. What about like say like in at the Renaissance Fair, like whoever owned that Renaissance Fair, wouldn't they have to like make a claim for like insurance because their part of their fair just burnt down? You know, doesn't
Yeah,
that like doesn't that really have any bearing on the timeline?
because you remember what Owen said. He said anything you do in the past, no matter how small,
Yeah,
could send a butterfly effect through the to the future. So
yeah.
if their machine does anything but reset time back to before the variance occurred, then it would change every timeline going forward. So I don't think it can destroy what was there because that would change whatever
That would
timeline the timekeepers had. They
yeah.
would be doing worse than
Unless
what the person did.
unless the timekeeper's sacred timeline included them going back in time catching that variant. You know? It's
I mean,
just
it would have to if they're the people they say they are. However, if
yeah.
that's the case, then they would never. If they plan for all this, then they would never hold anybody accountable for any variance because
Right.
it's not them.
Yeah.
They don't have any control.
Yeah, and you know, in the beginning, when Loki and Mobius they go to the Renaissance Fair to track the one H and the one missing, the one timekeeper or TVA agent asks Loki, what are these? And he says they're reset charges and they prune the affected radius of a branch timeline. And then Loki just says that's a nice way. Here, let me just pull this up. He says. And it says that allows time to heal all of its wounds. And Loki says, which is a nice way of saying it disintegrates everything in its vicinity. So, like, if they go and they just disintegrate, everything in the vicinity, doesn't that make a timeline, a branch of the timeline?
It has to make a bunch of different branches, right?
Yeah, because like that Renaissance Fair, whoever owned that Renaissance Fair, maybe they were, the Renaissance Fair was popular, people like going there, and then boom, fire breaks out, and then nobody wants to go there anymore. It's a safety hazard because they just set this place on fire. How does that not create a new timeline?
Or like the people there? Are they also destroyed? Like the people, like the woman who saw the agents come out of that portal, is she destroyed afterwards?
Yeah.
And then what happens to her family who lost somebody? Like what happens?
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, I don't think it's a question that they can answer in the show because I think it's based on like they're taking parts and pieces from different theories and beliefs and putting them all in one, and I don't think they could reconcile it at the end.
No, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do it. What was interesting is too when they're looking for the gum from the first episode. They try to find this gum to see what catastrophic or apocalyptic event the variant's hiding in, and they want to see what event he's hiding in. So they look up this gum and they look to the future. They look to our future. They look and see. Like, where was this gum made? And all the catastrophic events between, it was 2041 and 2058. And it's like, oh, man. And it's like, oh, there was a tsunami. And I'm just thinking, that, yeah, that's climate change. That's probably happening. They just list, all the events. And
but they did mention the one they went to was a hurricane. I'm like, it was a hurricane in one town. I'm thinking, was that an apocalyptic event? I mean, a hurricane in one small town that...
Yeah,
probably didn't have many people in it anyway. In relation to the amount of people in the world.
Yeah, it was confusing. And then what was also confusing is what if this is what powers does Sylvie have or Lady Loki, whoever she is, what powers does Sylvie have, and why didn't she just take mind control of Loki?
That's a good point, but I don't think she wanted to take. I don't think she wanted to control Loki. I think ultimately she wanted Loki to come with her, right? But what was cool about that scene with her and Loki, which was a throwback to the movie Fallen with Denzel. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
the I guess the demon or spirit. Anytime he would just touch somebody and go into their body and keep touching somebody. Yeah, that scene was kind of cool when the guard gets touched, and then the guard touches the guy who worked at the store, and then
Yeah.
they touch a customer that
And
ultimately
the other
starts.
agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that part was cool, but it was from. I mean, I don't know if it came from a movie before that, but I know it came from Fallen. That original
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and in this too, I was wondering, how is if she's not Loki, right? How is she as strong as he is? Because he's in theory like as strong as Thor. He's bulletproof.
That's what I was thinking.
In other Avengers, he people shoot at him, nothing happens. So he's has super strength. Why is he getting his butt kicked?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, he was
Especially,
struggling.
and she can take control of these people, but does she give them her powers too? Because if that's the case, why were the guys that he was fighting, the customers in the store, the people in the store, why were they as strong as him and beating him up? It just it didn't really make quite. And he has magic too. Why wouldn't he have used it? I guess he didn't want to win, but I just wonder what would have happened if he actually wanted to try to subdue them or do something.
I was wondering if she was like, was it mind control? And once she controls somebody's mind, if they touch somebody else, she controls their mind, or was she like entering their bodies and taking over, right? Because
Yeah.
if she's entering their bodies, then maybe they can be as strong as her. But if it's only mind control, does she, like you said, is she so powerful with mind control that she can not only take over their mind, but then they'll have the same physical strength that she does?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, ultimately, some predictions. I think the TVA is going to turn out to be bad. I think
Yeah.
Mobius. I don't know if Mobius is going to stay in the TVA and be destroyed, but I feel like the TVA is going to get destroyed or something. I think they're going to find out it's bad. Judge Slayer is bad.
Yeah.
She's definitely bad, and something's connecting with that pen from Franklin D. Roosevelt High School. Something either they came in contact with Captain America or something. They took it from him. I don't know. Maybe that's where Cap is. Remember the question from Falcon and Winter Soldier was, "Is Cap on the moon?" And maybe he's arrested by the TVA.
That's a good point. Maybe like they're holding him, because I do think that Mobius and Loki bonded, right? And I think
Right.
they're going to get closer as the season goes on. Maybe not directly, but I think they're going to meet again, and maybe not for good. Maybe they stay together, but I think eventually Mobius is going to break from the TVA, and they're going to send that head guard, the female, and the guys, the other soldiers with her, to go get Mobius and to get Loki, and eventually.
Yeah.
I believe at the end we'll all know that the real evil. Because think about it, we're humans, right?
Yeah.
So we should be on the side of humans and Loki, right? Because we're not the TVA.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can't be on the side. We can't be against Loki. I think it's good that they use this storyline with Loki, because if any other Avenger, they're the good guys, right? We're never going to do that.
Yeah.
But he is the only. I guess he's not an Avenger, but he's kind of like the black sheep of the Avengers.
Yeah, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad.
He's the person you would buy this story with, because
Yeah.
you're fine being against Loki because he's kind of like the bad guy. But eventually we'll find out they're gonna make Loki the hero.
Yeah, I like Loki. I'm glad they were using this as a way to get him back in the MCU, considering that, Thanos killed him in Endgame. But if you have some theories of your own, leave a comment below. If you like this video, hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Smash the gavel. Smash the gavel on the like button. Turn on notifications, and thanks for watching.